Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to use the HTP Freedom 3000 Pulse Welder to do some carbon arc gouging. And this is one of the main reasons I bought this welder. When you get into welding repair, oftentimes you've got to de-weld something before you can fix it. And you know, you could use a grinder, but it's a whole lot faster to do carbon arc gouging. And most machines won't do that, especially inverter machines. And it's actually a built-in feature on the HTP Freedom 3000 Pulse. So let's check it out. So when I bought my HTP welder, I went to the HTP America USA Weld.com website and found the welder, and then they offer all these different packages. And what I did was buy the cut and weld package, and it comes with the carbon arc gouger as well as your stinger to weld stick. The carbon arc gouge, we simply unplug our positive electrode that runs to our MIG torch inside, and that can just hang. And then we plug in our stick electrode holder into that electrode positive, and then you carbon arc gouge on electrode positive, DC electrode positive. So the ground clamp we just leave on the negative. Our carbon arc gouging electrode holder has this end on it. And what we'll do there, simply slide back the cover, and then our electrode simply clamps on to our brass fitting. Okay, with our electrode hooked up, we're going to go ahead and hook up the air, and then we just slide this cover over. And the carbon arc gouge, they said you want between 80 to 100 psi of air. Go ahead and pick about 90. Then our carbon electrode holder, there's an air switch. And these air nozzles go on the bottom. So if you had a carbon in it, it would be oriented like this. And that's how you'd operate it. Okay, and of course, you've got to have the carbons. And I'm just going to use these Blue Demon. These are, what size are they? These are the 3/16 carbon. And it says to run them between 150 and 250 amps. So I think we'll start at about 200. What the heck? Let's check it out. So here are the carbons. And the way these work is they simply click in to our electrode holder, and they say you want about 7 inches of stick out, and the bare carbon part is the first part that you'll strike the arc with, and then blow that weld away. Carbon arc gouging is a loud, violent process. So I would recommend it outdoors, and that's where we're gonna do it. And along with the regular welding stuff, you need, you know, your full length leather gloves, your welding hood, obviously, and they recommend ear protection because of that. With that air, it is a very loud process as well. And it's going to throw fire about everywhere. So make sure there's nothing kind of downrange of it that you don't want to experience some heat and sparks. And definitely no flammables. All right, so as far as the machine settings, we've got all of our selections right here, and we're just going to hit the mode switch to come down to gouging. So here's our gouging. And it's on 83 amps right now. You can adjust that right here. Electrodes for our carbon arc gouging said to run them between 150 and 250. So you spin your wire feed speed is the amp setting here. And so we said we would just go to 200 because that was right in the range, in the middle of it. So there we go. We're set up and we are now ready to carbon arc gouge. Let's go out and take a look at our workpiece we're going to play with. Carbon arc gouging basically erases welds. And so here's a weld on a piece of 1/4-inch steel, just a fillet weld, and it's got a lot of porosity in it. I think on this one, I didn't have the gas turned on when I did it. I was just messing around. And then this one is a piece, is a weld that was done with dual shield, and it's got some worm tracks in it. So just, you know, this was a practice weld. So let's use it to practice unwelding. I didn't mention it, but your ground clamp also has to be involved, just like for arc welding or any welding. So we're just gonna put this on this table since we're using it.
All right, so let's try that. I'm off.
So I'm assuming we do need a clamp?
Yeah. didn't use much rod, so that's pretty impressive.
It definitely erased some weld, but I kind of had my angle wrong, and I've eaten into this 1/4 inch. But you can kind of see the line of separation in a few places, not all the way. So we just need some more practice. Let's check it out. I'm gonna turn this up to 220. I like 220 better. I ate into the parent metal a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with that for the first time I've ever done this. So I like it. On this end, I didn't get into the parent metal as much, but I did also get into it a little bit. I do like the 220 setting better. I think it works a little hotter. You know, it just seems like it worked faster than the 200. So just playing with it, trying to figure it out. Let's check it out. All right, so I got a little bit into the parent metal on that practice piece. So we've got another practice piece. What I am very impressed by, I mean, that's still the first rod that I've used. It's time to slide it down a little bit. But they say you want about 6 to 7 inches sticking out here. I thought these things would disappear super fast, and really didn't. 220 amps was a lot better, easier for me to keep the arc lit, which kept me being able to direct it where I wanted it versus the start and stop that was doing on 200 amps. So, you know, you just got to play with it and figure out what works best for you and the part that you're doing. It uses a lot of air. My air compressor, once it kicked on, it never stopped, you know, while I was doing that. And then actually it ran for about another 2 minutes after we finished. So just kind of something else to be aware of. It is very loud and it does throw a lot of spark. This is also going to be a practice piece. And what my goal is, it looks like I can unweld this bottom part from this receiver hitch by this weld that's wrapped around here. I looked underneath, it's not welded on the back side. But then over here, this plate is welded vertically on both sides, and then there's 3 stitch welds right along here. So I'm gonna try and de-weld this. This receiver hitch came out of the scrap pile, so we're just kind of playing with it, but this represents the kind of work that I will be doing with our Carbon Arc Gouger on our HTP Welder. This part, in addition to being old and rusty and bent, it's been painted pretty good. So I don't know if it's gonna matter or not, but I am gonna take this wire wheel and knock this paint loose just to see if a better connection will get us a better result as well. Okay, let's try it out. That could have been bad.
What'd you do?
My helmet's on grind.
Oh.
Did you go back?
Always remember to change your helmet setting, people.
Luckily, I thought about that before I did it. There's a little flashing light inside the helmet, and I saw that light. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. She's getting a little short there.
Yeah, but you can see the separation line really clear. You see that?
Yes, I do. That looks really good.
Yeah, so there's the separation line, and I probably ate too much metal away, but that separation line is right where you need to get to. I think we pretty much used up our rod, but I'm gonna try and stick it in there because I am cheap. Yeah, I think I can get a little more out of it.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna go down from the top and just blow it right into here, so we'll have to watch the spark coming back at it.
Okay.
Okay, and I actually can see that separation line. But now, this is definitely at the end of this life. So that one started off making a great arc, but I didn't have the air on. Oh well.
These things do happen.
These are extremely fragile. We talked about that, but I just barely bumped that and it cracked it right in half. And that's bad because these are really kind of too short to use. And, you know, at this length, it would be the perfect size.
Oh well. I can kind of see the crack in there now though.
Right, yeah, it got down in there. Okay, so a lot of this is just slag and it comes off with the hammer, which helps to reveal that separation line. I'm gonna buzz across it one more time and then we're gonna get the big sledgehammer out and see if it'll come apart. I think it will. All right, I think we're ready. Okay, after flipping this up, it looks like we got a bead of weld here and there as well. All right, well, this was welded a little more than I thought. I've got a arc air this part and that part out as well, arc gouge here and there, and then the same on the other side. You know, it might be tough to get that arc gouger in here, but there's no way you could get a grinding wheel in there. So the arc gouger is definitely more productive here. I've been going right to left. You have to have your air jets pointing at your work. Now I need to go left to right, but watch this. You just spin your jaw around. Now you can go left to right. We didn't get this all the way apart, and I just don't feel like it's totally worth the effort. I don't think I got it unwelded down in there. I could position it different so that that dropped out. You know, you can see that this plate is no longer welded to this bar, and this plate's no longer welded to that bar. And we didn't get into the bar itself much, so I don't think we've weakened it structurally. Again, this is just a giant piece of scrap. But, you know, for arc gouging at home, which is a very difficult process, for home hobbyists to do. The HTP Freedom 3000 Pulse, it does a heck of a job. And I know it's going to be a giant addition to my projects, and I'm super glad to have it. If you got anything out of this video, give us a thumbs up. It absolutely helps our channel. And we invite you to subscribe to see more. Have a great day and be safe.